Alright, we back. Game 2, Alegre versus Vodka, Wizards versus Zombies. We have this map, which interestingly enough was like a pretty okay map by itself. I don't think there's too many complaints with this map specifically, but this controversial piece of shit font in the middle creates very oftentimes difficult situations. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if I'm stupid. I probably am, to be honest, but that's neither here nor there. It's just, I always fuck this up somehow. And like, dude, flyers on this fucking map, if you don't have a flyer, you could just deploy here and threaten both sides at once and like really fuck with people. Because then they have to answer with one, and then it's like not a big deal, but if you screw up the deploy sequence and like this guy that's like here just gets into this font or here gets into this font for free, and then like you're down on tempo because he can just contest this, whatever. Anyways. This map, cool. Probably should revert to middle font. Anyways, moving on. We saw a scry. That was a good change as well. That no longer cost 20 Nora, it just cost 20 Shrine Health. So that's pretty cool. Ooh, early Meredith. Merdreth. Sorry, Merdreth. Merdreth. The Rot. Pretty sick. One of my favorite FW champs. I wish it was class witch. That would be so much cooler. And then I can run it in witch decks, and I'd feel super happy because it has Desperate Zone, and she's a 2x2, so I'm fucking sick. But this 1v1 definitely favors Merdreth, so with Horrific Aura and the Foul Strike with inhibited, so it stomps the Blessed from ever kicking in. So we're going to need to see probably a significant backup, and depending on like what he deploys up here the following couple turns, he may not even really need to invest more in the mid font and just be more of a general annoyance. Because Alegre has to have something that can deal with this Merdreth, otherwise he just loses bot font for free, which in this case is really, really bad because it just, all the tempo favors FW then, because you can just sit here permanently, never have to really leave the font with like any kind of zombie that can just sit there. I don't know if he's running Corrupted Guardian, but he could just completely stonewall this side of the map while he can just like reinforce up here. T-Fairy's pretty good for stalling and stuff, but with Desecration being a thing, he can just easily detect it out and like 2-tap it with some vulnerability from like Corrupted Guardian or something. Ignorance is really strong here, clearly. This guy's playing Wizards, and this guy has Ignorance. That's a Keck W moment for sure. I think... Can he contest still? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... Yeah, okay. So if he has a Relic, then this would be ideal. So that he forces him to come into the font. Oh, so he's clearly not going to Relic up. Judging by the double deploy up top here. But yeah, like I said, he needs to reinforce this bot more so against Merdreth, otherwise she's just going to steamroll. Pardon me. Like pseudo 4 defense, so this thing's only doing 7 per hit. He does have Magic Beam for like 12 damage, so depending on how Horrific Aura is used, there could be some sort of sway in terms of like what Alegre could do, but ultimately I think Merdreth just steamrolls the mid font, bot font. Infected Zombie applying Ignorance to the T-Fairy, which causes her to not be invisible ever. Pretty good. Yeah, even with a Relic. So he was probably better off holding AP and then just deploying here so that this guy can contest. But ultimately, this is I think what's going to happen is Alegre is going to get screwed, and hopefully not. I think he's going to get screwed on the bot side, and then this mid font is going to be kind of abysmal with this being a Giga Cuck deploy. Alright, interesting use of horrific aura here just to stop the initial arrow. Trying not to get my daughter on the call, but it is what it is. She's so cute, so it doesn't matter. Fuck you guys. You'd be blessed to hear her voice. But we're just going to see Meredith move in. I mean, honestly, what can you do? Now that the Illuminate is gone, it's pseudo for defense because of disease and foul strike. Like he could disease bomb here, but I think you're better off just moving in, pressing the issue, because then you apply DMZ over the inspector, and then there's like no possible answer. Not that you'd want to spend Nora in this situation, but yeah, I think he's kind of screwed here. I think this is why this map becomes a little bit sus, is because like you have to have champions that can solo. You have to have 1v1 champions that can deal with something like Meredith. There's not many forces out there that can deal with the giant dragon, to be honest. But at the same time, like, him spending 20 more Nora forces you to also spend additional resources down here to deal with this thing. And if you don't, you just lose your champion for free. So oftentimes, like, you're better off just like moving this thing up here and foregoing the bot pawn. But then you get into a situation where Meredith is going to move here and take this pawn, and then what do you have? One pawn up top, and you're being swarmed on every side by zombies? No, thank you. Because like before, this situation never occurs. There's no mid-font incursion. You just have a champion like T-Fury going top, and then he has his infected zombie going top to answer, and then you just have Aurora Lance does something. That does also get rid of the disease. Not this turn, but the next. So a little bit of an answer, but it's still not going to make the 1v1 matter too much. Yeah, anyways, like I was saying, you just never get the situation. You have both people going top, these guys 1v1 in some way, probably not though. You move T-Fury down, and then you have reinforcements to like supplement this bot fight. Now, I can understand why you'd want to change it a little bit, because this specific area is kind of like shitty. It's not a lot of space for 2x2s, and it's like very narrow, so you can get into some knockdown situations with like range and stuff. But I think overall the health of this map was a little bit better beforehand. It's not the worst now. Going out it again. Yeah, the disease breath, kind of overcoming the blinded. Doesn't get to double tap, but next turn, Inspector is dead. And then guess what? Bow Mage can enter the font. So, pretty sus. Oh, imbue stun, okay. Right, didn't see that for some reason. I play KF every day of my life, but no. Didn't see that. See, I should just shut up. I'm not even that good at this. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? We could see Soul Reaver. That would be, like, huge. I assumed there was, like, no possible hope, but yeah, Soul Reaver would just be the nail in the coffin, I think. If he's got it. Oh, he's not running Revere either. I guess that's not on the upgrade line, right? Because that gives latch on, right? I'm pretty sure. It doesn't say anywhere. Rage of the Circle, pretty sick. Love the change to Rage. It's actually like pretty slept on, I think, in terms of like wizards and stuff. Good looking from XVoddka to tap the T-Fairy. Because that means you can't stealth and just be a nuisance. You can, like, you know, entangle here, doesn't really matter, but the big thing is that T-Fairy can't just hide. So Meredith dies because there was no Soul Reaver. Pretty big. Mid-font goes Alegre's way. Not how I thought it was going to go, I'm going to be honest. Zombie dies here. Pretty sure. He's not running Aura though, so never mind. He could walk down and entangle, and then... Okay. Yeah, he could have killed the infected zombie here. He would have taken a bunch of damage from damage shield too. It's okay. Caught the multi-attack from Portal Watcher. I think, like, yeah, Rage of the Circle with Chain Fei, insane. Super good. Speaking of which, he's not running Chain Fei. It's kind of crazy. It's playing full faction KF Wizards with no Chain Fei. I think it's... I think it's fine. I don't think it's like you're trolling if you're not doing it, but it just seems like so unintuitive. It can be detrimental in some maps, like you just cannot deploy Chain Fei into like sequence deploys where you like let's see, like Chain Fei Oracle T2 can't happen. Chain Fei Oracle T1 can't happen. So you can kind of get into like shitty situations where you can't follow up deploys and like construe your own tempo, but there's certain maps where it just like it makes no difference the fact that you deployed her, because you don't lose tempo at all. Ooh, I like that little animation. The cloud of the disease thing was like stuck over here and then it followed. Pretty cool. I think actually, like, now this game is super doomed. I thought this was going to go a lot different, but here I stand corrected. Still hope for XVoddka. Definitely not out of the game, but it is so much harder now that he doesn't have this font. I think he definitely misplayed with the Earth Cora. Not that he could have like anticipated. Not that he could have anticipated Aurora Lance coming down when it did, but at the same time, like there could have been a little more foresight. Just negating like 10 damage in the early skirmish is not going to make too much of a difference in terms of the overall fight. T-Fairy dies here. He's not running Aura, so he doesn't actually get this. Oh, okay, Stellar. Stellar does it. That's not good. That's really not good. I'm gonna be honest. As a KF player, I know that this is like, this is GG. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out, I guess. I don't know. I've been wrong before, clearly. Yep. GG. Game 2, it's best of 5, so there's one more.